Hello, everyone, and as always, I pray that you're having a glorious day. After all, this is the day that the Lord has made, and you and I should rejoice and be glad therein. This is an exciting time in my life, my ministry, what God has next for me, and I'm excited to share it with you. Listen, let me begin with this. Uh, Next month, the 19th of next month, my latest book, All Along the Watchtower, will drop. You can pre order now at www.watchtower.city. That is www.watchtower.city. And we are going to be offering a devotional that goes along with that. We're working on getting the audio book together for that, as well as the manuscript. We are developing a leadership development module out of that, and so much more as this builds into a larger platform that fits within that. Here it is: fit, fearless, intentional, and transformational construct. And I am excited about it. And one of the ways that God has a tendency his work is to just drop some things into your lap as you are developing. I had a friend, the late pastor, preacher, Herb Brisbane, used to tell me, Anthony, God would allow you to bump into the right people, then you can set your calendar to try to meet good gracious of life. And that's what God has done throughout the course of my life, and specifically throughout the course of this process of working on this book. And one of those things that has happened, not only do I lay down in the book the foundation, the mindset as we look at Rebecca and that entire book, in particular or specifically chapter 2, but also the components. I focus in on 14 key focuses, I believe, that the African American church is going to have to zero in on in order for it to survive what is here and what is coming. As they say in the Game of Thrones, winter is coming, and we have to prepare for it. Winter is, in many instances, is already here, and we will survive it, but there's areas that we need to tighten up, to focus in on, in order for us to survive it as a people, as a collective, if you would. And one of those areas has to do with education, and that 14 focus points. I focus in on number 10, which is educate and advocate. We are to reclaim the historic identity of the African American church, if you would, the Black church, as a schoolhouse, as a center of institutional formation, if you would, or intellectual formation, and a voice of advocacy in every educational arena. In a season when African American studies are being dismantled, HBCUs funding is under threat, and public schools are failing to form on the whole child, we commit to what? To standing at the school door as advocates, tutors, mentors, and builders of educational pipelines that serve our children. And I say our children, I mean the entirety of the community, the entirety, Black, white, Jew, and Gentile, but focusing in on those areas, especially where those are black and brown tones, or as Du Bois has said, those dressed in black velvet are failing, and those institutions are failing them. So this was focus point number 10 when I started writing the book. I want you to think about that. And I began to process this whole construct and belief. I shared it with a group of pastors, and they were excited about it locally. I have already connected with a group of pastors across the nation that are excited, from New Orleans to Texas and Tennessee and et cetera. And we're going to begin to formulate a covenant of brothers that we're going to focus on these 14 points as a whole, and those things that we need to do in order to strengthen the things that remain. But this past week, I walked into the Indiana Agricultural and Technology School, their housing and building, and began to talk about some things in general. And that conversation led me to introduce a program that I had wrote some years ago as it relates to when I was a part of Fort Wayne Community Schools and East Allen County Schools. And we started talking about that. And guess what? As of last week, or as of Friday, I completed my first week as a part of that school's teaching staff. Good gracious of life. Y'all don't want to talk to me here today. Listen, you go from theory, if you would. I go from the idea of what it's going to take in focus point number 10 to actually doing the labor that it's going to take. And it has been it has been a transformational week for me. I've learned and had the opportunity to step into the moccasins, if you would, of this generation of students. And they have taught me so much in a week, and I'm looking forward to being taught by them and those staff members as a part of the team that are working with them. Listen, it is vitally important, I believe, that parents and community leaders in general, and African American men specifically, engage in this educational process. I am thankful to God that He opened up this door for me to take the concept, the theory that I wrote about in the book, and literally live it out. God, is as though God was saying, okay, you want to write about it? I want you to be about it. Good gracious of life, help me out somebody. And so it's been exciting, and I'm looking forward to this year, next year, the year to come, etc., because I believe this is what legacy is about, stepping into those spaces where the least of these are and doing with every gift, talent, ability that God has given us what is necessary to pull them up and watch them become and do what God has called them to do. So I am soliciting your prayers. If you say, okay, I want to volunteer, I want to do something, it doesn't have to be at Indiana Agricultural and Technology School. There are multiple schools, East Allen County, Fort Wayne Community Schools, etc., all across our cities that need your presence, needs your help. And I beseech thee, if you would, by the mercies of God, that you would present yourself as a living sacrifice in those settings and do and be about what God has called you to do and be about. Listen, thank you, as always, for giving me a few moments of your time. I always want to be a great steward of it, so God's blessing be upon you. And as always, shalom. Peace.